Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for November of 2022. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
I'm Julia Mijas in San Francisco, California.
Well, Scorpio, if this is your sun sign, not your rising sign horoscope that you're watching, then it's your birthday month and you're due for your yearly birthday reading. You can also get answers to your questions about finance too, because that is a theme of today's horoscope. You'll find a link for the birthday reading in the text that comes with this video. Well, the first piece of good news is we are clear of Juno retrograde. Thank goodness. It has been traveling along in Pisces in your fifth house, and I said a lot about it in videos that came out in July, September, and October. So take a look at our YouTube channel and find the playlists for July, September, and October, and watch those videos about Juno, because let me tell you, in the last couple of months, if you have had big relationship upsets and a total change in maybe in your relationship status or just in any relationship that you have, then you need to know about this. So check that out. But the good news is it's over. Ceres is in Virgo all month. And here she is traveling along through your 11th house of community and friends. Ceres is about good self-stewardship, getting things organized, taking care of the physical needs and demands in any particular area, and also managing your money well. Ceres traveling along through your 11th house might pertain to things like monies that you lend or borrow from friends, getting those situations cleaned up so you can have goodwill with your friends. Or if you have social media that you do, social media marketing, then you might want to think carefully about how you budget for those ads in the way that you reach out to your audience. Jupiter is traveling along through Pisces. It's been dancing back and forth between Pisces and Aries this year, and it's just finished with Aries and now has retrograded back to Pisces. So Jupiter is returning to its gentle giant approach in Pisces, and in your fifth house, this is going to really amp up your creativity and give you opportunities to expand on your personal brand, how you put yourself out there in the world. And Jupiter is going to go direct in Pisces on November 23rd. So there may be special opportunities there to move forward with those things. Now, Julia, I think you've got some really important news about Mars retrograde.
Oh, yes. Well, Scorpio, Mars is the planet of action and activity. Wherever we have it, that month is usually where we feel very driven. Now, Mars is retrograde this month, and this cycle happens less frequently than Mercury retrogrades. Mercury goes retrograde about 3 times per year, but Mars goes retrograde about once every 2 years. So it's definitely a more significant cycle, and it does happen over a few months. Mars this month is going retrograde, or starts the month retrograde in your 8th house. This is the house that rules other people's money. So money that you either share with people close to you, like a partner, through a joint credit card, maybe through your family, like through an inheritance or a trust. And it's also money that you make or share with institutions, such as credit, loans, stocks, crypto, all of that kind of stuff. And so Mars retrograde in this house might be a bit of a frustrating financial cycle for you. You could feel very driven to sort of increase your money and security, but also feel like you have to kind of go back over, because retrograde literally means the planet is going backwards from our apparent perspective on Earth. So it's a time of maybe having to redo our actions. And in the sign of Gemini, where this is all happening, it could be a time of even redoing some financial strategy as well, because Gemini is such an intellectual sign, a sign of thought, and a sign of communication. So yes, Mars retrograde, this is probably not the best time to ask for a loan, to do a lot of complex investments, for example. And because this house rules other people's money, it might be a time of frustration, especially with people that you're close to over shared resources as well. The eighth house is also a house of research. So if there's something in your life, either professionally or personally, that you're doing research and investigation into, you may have to go back over your conclusions. So this is a time for a lot of patience in all eighth house matters. So the next planet I also want to discuss today is Mercury, the planet of mentation. It involves your mind as well as communication too. And wherever we have Mercury is where we're mentally preoccupied that month. And Mercury starts off in your first house of self. This is a very nice transit for being able to communicate yourself well. It's a very good transit for making first impressions on other people using your mind. It would be very nice for a job interview. And you can just find yourself more articulate, more better understood by others. And on November 8th, which is a very important day to keep track of, because it's when Mercury, which is now moving a direct after it did its whole retrograde cycle, you probably remember, it's when Mercury is going to be exactly conjoined the sun. And that's known as Greater Epiphany Day. It's a time of insights. It's a time of revelation. So in the first house of self, this can have to deal with how you articulate yourself, how you express your mind to other people, because the first house is how we project our energies out to others. And then on November 17th, Mercury goes into your second house. This is also a financial house. So finances are big for you this month. With Mercury going into the second house, this house is differentiated from the eighth because it represents more the income you earn yourself, like through a paycheck or a salary. And Mercury in the second house is a time of thinking, strategizing, planning your money. Maybe you're thinking, if you have a business, how can I expand it? Or maybe you're thinking at work, should I ask for a raise, or how can I increase my income in some way? This is also the house of your personal possessions. Mercury is a planet that has to do with buying and selling as well. So maybe you're thinking, oh, it's time to sell this possession of mine, or maybe this is time to buy something new. And then finally, Venus, the planet of relationships and also the planet of beauty, starts the month in your first house as well. So the beginning of the month, both Mercury and Venus are in here. And Venus adds some grace, some charm to your self-expression. Really a wonderful month if you just are meeting new people and you really want to start things off to the right foot, having both Mercury and Venus in here. Venus in the first is also a lovely time for dating too, because you're looking extra good. So if you want to do something to sort of enhance your appearance in any way, this is a wonderful time for it. And you can just come across as a little bit more charming to other people. Then on November 15th, Venus is going to go into your second house. She goes in a couple of days before Mercury does. And Venus in the second house gives you a little extra money luck. Again, if you are looking to sort of increase your personal income, which again, different than the eighth house, Venus in the second is great for that. Also acquiring things that will really give you a lot of pleasure, really give you a lot of enjoyment as well. And since the second house is ruled by Taurus, the sign that rules Venus, it's a very sensual time as well, where you really just want to get into your physical body and enjoy it. Again, that could be like a massage, eating a lot of good food. It's sort of an indulgent time for you, which can be very nice.
Yeah, Venus in the second house is great, especially for your finances. And I'm going to return to that thought in a minute. But I want to begin with this month's first moon, which is a full moon in Taurus, opposite the sun in Scorpio. And it's not just any full moon, it's an eclipse. It's a lunar eclipse in Taurus, and landing in your seventh house the way that it does, this is going to stir up a lot of emotion in your relationships. An eclipse of any kind shows us our shadow, and the house that the eclipsed planet lands in, that's where we see our shadow. We're forced to face it. This is a house of mirroring already anyway, so you might see your shadow emerging in your relationship. You might have to face stuff that you don't really like to look at every day, and it may crop up in your relationship, possibly in the form of an upset on the part of your partner. And on the other hand, you might see your partner's shadow popping up. So we're calling this one physical freedom versus emotional entanglements. That's because of the involvement of Uranus, which really is pulling for freedom, and the placement in Taurus, which is very physicalized, very grounded. So this side of the dynamic is pulling for, I just want to be on my own. I just want to have my own stuff. I don't want to merge with you. Whereas the Scorpio placements over here are very much pulling for merging. And because the Sun, Mercury, and Venus are here involved with this eclipse, landing in your first house of identity, this really might feel personal. So if I were to imagine a scenario that might crop up around this, I would say there may be an emotional kerfuffle with your partner close to November 8th, which involves your partner pulling away and saying, no, I don't want to be merged with you. I want my own boundaries. I want my separation. I want my space. And you might feel like, oh my God, you don't love me. I'm going to die. And I want to encourage you to question that idea. It's possible that your partner does love you and is bonded to you, and you are attractive enough, and it's just that they want a little bit of space. So giving them that space is likely to bring an end to their need for space faster than anything. Okay, the next thing I want to tell you about is that the Sun moves into Sagittarius. So we have the seasonal change, and here it is. The Sun has moved out of your first house into your second house, and this is the house of finance, as Julia said. The Sun joins Mercury and Venus there, and I like to think of the Sun as representing sunlight, which is like a metaphor for high quality attention. Wherever the Sun goes, place your high quality attention there, and when you shine that on the matters of this house, then things can thrive and flourish there, most particularly your money. So putting a little high quality attention into your finances and how you organize them, how you earn, save, spend, and manage your money is a really great way to use the month of Sagittarius, beginning here on November 22nd and proceeding for 30 days after that. Then the next day, on the 23rd, we have the new moon. And this isn't the best view of the new moon, so let me just move this forward by a couple of hours. Now you can see where the full moon, the new moon really is here in Sagittarius, again in your second house. So again, bringing attention into the realm of your finances and your bodily self-care as well. How you maintain your health through how you eat and how you manage and are a good steward of your physical self. So this moon we're calling the wisdom of foolish hope, because this is such a positive, bouncy, and upbeat moon that it brings a lot of confidence and ease and joy. And so this is actually a really great moon for putting what you want out there, for manifesting, for visualizing what you want, and putting so much enthusiasm and positivity into it that it can't help but come back to you. If you want to know more about both of these moons, you can find them on our website, pandoraastrology.com, in the forecast page. You'll see videos about those. They're also on our YouTube channel. In the November 2022 news playlist. And if you are interested in a reading or to take a class, you can find us at Pandora Astrology, and we would love to see you. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.